it's Nikki here from Happy Hormones for Life. Today I want to talk to you about cycle syncing, something you may have heard of recently in the last few years. How to use your hormonal ebb and flow of your cycle to your advantage. Now, it's a term coined by Elisa Vitti, author of Woman Code, one of the very first books I ever read on hormones. And there's no particular scientific evidence, or not much scientific evidence behind it, but it's been practiced through the centuries by women as a way to adapt and harness your hormonal fluctuations during your cycle. So from the moment you start your period in puberty, hormones can feel like they're in control, whether it's you feeling over emotional at certain times of the month, or angrier, or more tired, or snappy, or hungry even. Fluctuating hormones can affect your performance, your relationships, and how you feel throughout the month. So it's important to know really what's going on, and also to have the tools to be able to know how to sync your diet, lifestyle, and activities to harness this hormonal ebb and flow, if you like, to your advantage. So I want to go through the 4 phases of your cycle. The first phase is menstruation. Now, your period is the very start of your what's called your follicular phase. So day 1 of your cycle is the first day of your heavy flow. And as your uterine lining sheds, your estrogen and progesterone hormones are at their lowest levels. FSH starts to rise and your ovarian follicles are in a bit of a race to be selected for ovulation. So bleeding usually lasts between 3 to 7 days. Now, symptoms during this time, you're going to feel, if you've had PMS, you may feel a sense of relief as everything sort of lets go. But you may also feel tired, withdrawn, pain and pain sensitive, and emotionally fragile. So these are common symptoms of your period week. Now, what you can do in phase 1, so dietary wise, you really want to be focusing on nourishing food. So warming soups, stews, duck, leafy greens, root vegetables, healthy kind of comfort foods. Foods rich in iron as well, that's going to replace any iron lost during your bleed. So things like meat, dairy, bone broth, beans, legumes, things like that. And you really want to be staying off the alcohol and the caffeine as much as possible, because that's really not going to do you any favours during this time. It doesn't really do you many favours generally, but particularly during this week. Exercise wise, your energy might be a bit low, so you don't really want to overdo things. You want to focus on gentle walks, yoga, stretching, that kind of stuff. And then activity wise, you really want to slow down. So you want to schedule in some self-care, like a massage or a facial, or your nails, or sleeping as much as you can, resting, napping when you're tired, spending some time reflecting or planning. Try writing in a journal, doing some meditation, and trying not to plan in any demanding work activities. Now, I know that's really hard, but generally, if you can plan ahead and you know when your first phase is, then obviously you can do a bit more planning. Now, phase 2 is your follicular phase. So after your period, this phase continues to get you ready for ovulation. So one follicle is selected to start maturing, and FSH stimulates the production of estradiol, which starts to thicken the uterine lining and the cervical fluid. Now, the symptoms of this phase are you are going to be at your most fertile. This is just before ovulation, and you can feel pretty good. Estrogen is high, boosting your mood, your sleep, your skin looks great, your libido is good, serotonin and dopamine are higher than normal, and you may notice some fertile mucus appearing around this time. Obviously, that's the wet and slippery stuff to help sperm to swim. It's your body preparing for you to get pregnant, whether you want to or not. So what you can do in this phase, dietary wise, you want to focus on protein and cruciferous vegetables like broccoli, cauliflower, cabbage, kale, all really good for detoxification. Seeds like flax seeds and pumpkins to support estrogen balance. Foods rich in B vitamins like meat, fish, eggs, dairy, legumes, grains, things like that, and vitamin E to help support a healthy ovulation. Now, exercise wise, your energy is going to be pretty good. So this is a really good time to kind of up the intensity a bit and try some HIIT classes or heavier weights than you'd normally try, or something new if you feel like doing something a bit more adventurous. Now, obviously, the caveats there are, if you're not well, or your energy's low, or you're particularly stressed, then just be careful about that. Activity-wise, you may feel more sociable in this phase. It's really common. So you might want to book in more time with your friends and family. You might want to plan in some of your most difficult work tasks in this phase, those ones you've been putting off, like problem solving, productivity. This is going to be easier during this phase. Phase 3 is ovulation. It's a very short phase, 1 to 2 days. And this is when the release of an egg, the most important part of your cycle, it's the sort of the culmination of all your hormones working together in the first 2 phases. One of the racing follicles reaches the finish line, and it, triggered by a surge of LH, releases the egg. Now the egg is swept into your fallopian tubes and will either be fertilized or not by the sperm. Now, if you're not trying to get pregnant, ovulation is really important anyway, because it's the main source of your estrogen and progesterone hormones. So symptoms here, if you ovulate, you may feel a twinge of pain or a sensation as the egg is released, but generally you're not going to feel too much in this phase. Cycle syncing, so what you need to be looking at really are your anti-inflammatory and your antioxidant rich foods to support healthy detoxification, because all that estrogen needs to get through your system. So looking at green leafy veg, lots of berries, all the berries are high in antioxidants and are anti-inflammatory, herbs and spices, nuts, seeds, olive oil, garlic, beetroots, those kind of anti-inflammatory foods, all the colourful veg, really, really helpful. Exercise wise, your energy is still really good, so you want to keep going with the kind of more pushy, intense classes if you like that kind of thing. Maybe a group class for some extra social connection and to show off your new glow if that's how you're feeling. Activity wise, this is the time for love. If you've got a partner, schedule a date night. If not, go on a new date or meet up with friends for a fun night out. That's going to be good in this particular phase. Now, last phase is your luteal phase. So this is after ovulation. You enter this phase, which typically lasts around 12 to 14 days before the next period. So the follicle left behind, ovulation, miraculously forms this new thing called the corpus luteum. This is where progesterone is made. And this hormone is super, super important. Its main job is to prepare the womb for a healthy pregnancy, but it does so much more than that. Progesterone is your calming hormone. It helps you sleep, it reduces anxiety, and it balances out estrogen. So if there's no pregnancy, the corpus luteum will start to break down and estrogen and progesterone will fall, stimulating the breakdown of the uterine lining, and you'll start another cycle. But this phase is because of those falling hormones, you're going to have low progesterone and low estrogen. You can feel typical PMS symptoms, which can include everything from low energy, your mood swings, low mood, irritability, cravings, anxiety, bloating, breast tenderness, breakouts, and more. And many women can find this is the phase that they really suffer through. Dietary wise, there's a lot you can do to support yourself. You want to be loading up on healthy fats and protein to stave off any kind of cravings. You want to be eating plenty of fiber and hydrating really, really well. So limiting the alcohol and caffeine, which are not going to be very hydrating for you and are going to put extra pressure on your liver. So you might want to get in your sunflower and sesame seeds to support progesterone balance, and focus on foods rich in magnesium, like green leafy veg, nuts and seeds. Dark chocolate is really helpful in this phase, which, that's probably why you're craving chocolate as well, but go for the dark stuff because that's going to be full of antioxidants. Supplements can help here too. So magnesium is a great one. It helps with pain and also relaxing muscles and cramps. Omega-3, EPA, DHA are really great for reducing inflammation, things like that. If you have particularly heavy or painful periods or PMS symptoms, you might want to try avoiding dairy products throughout the month to see if that helps. Dairy and PMS symptoms are very much linked. Exercise, your energy is going to dip during this phase, so you may just want to pull back a little bit, take it a bit easier, be a bit kinder to yourself. Long baths with magnesium-rich Epsom salts are really good in this phase. Gentle stretching, things like that. And activity-wise, you want to start winding down the social and the heavy work stuff, making sure you're getting enough good quality sleep and relaxation. Really, really key in the run-up to your period. Deep breathing exercises can help to relieve tension and stress. And general relaxation and self-care, really, really important. Now, the huge caveat here is that every woman's body is truly amazing, but is unique. There are so many complex and moving parts to make this cycle happen. So it's not surprising that every woman is going to have a different experience and go through it differently. So it's really important to track your cycle and monitor your symptoms and feelings, and check for any patterns during the month and work out what your phases are, because like I said, everyone's going to have different timings. There are lots of tracking apps out there, Flow, Clue, Moody Month. My sister's a particular one for perimenopause as well. It can be really helpful, or you can just go old-fashioned and use a calendar. Because once you understand your own phases, you can then experiment with the syncing tools and really just use what is available to you in your daily life and find out what works for you best. So, and it's really important to be patient because this can take some time to work out what helps and what doesn't work. Now, having said all that, if you really are struggling or you need help, obviously get help either through your doctor or contact us for details of our support packages and our testing. I hope that was helpful today. I hope you well. I'll see you soon.